Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. All of the various ways we are connecting. Some of you are here live, some of you are catching the video. We are all uniting together, reconnecting together in this now to anchor in and be our highest light and allow that light through all spaces of us. And that's a really big sentence. All spaces of us. If we when we lean into the truth of that sentence, it is so vast and so powerful and so beautiful. So we just let everyone get in here who's still coming in the door. We're going to have a wonderful time together. This is a bonus class. We're going to do a little bit of an activation towards the end of the class as well. Energy space together. I have so many things I want to share with you, and so many things that I know I am to share with you. So I'm going to do my best to just allow. My mind keeps saying, you can't get all of that into 1 hour, Andrea. You can't get all of that into 1 hour. And then my heart says, just allow. And what is supposed to be in this space will be in this space. So we'll go through it with love, and we'll go through it with that trust. Yes? All right. I'll watch the door as we move forward. So thank you. Thank you so much for being the new human. Yes. So I'm not asking anyone to come off their mic or tap in and answer. I just want you to answer within your being. Like, think about this for a minute. All right. Can you look at your life? Can you imagine and think about your life for a minute? And can you see spaces, maybe many, maybe one, whatever it is, where you are being new? Can you pick up on that, where you are being new? We call it being the new human because it's the space in which we are actually implementing it, if you will, right? This is the space where we're actually experientially implementing the higher understandings of our being and allowing them to be then present in our now form. And the reason why I say it that way is because there's even more to you. There's more to me. There's more to us that is continually opening up. So if you look over your life, if you think about your relationships or your habits or your thought processes or whatever spaces, all spaces, right? And you can find moments, conversations, experiences in which there is a new unfolding. There's a new feeling, a new sensation, a new response, a new interpretation. You know what I mean? Yes. So you, in that moment, when you can see that, when you can feel that, you are understanding the know thyself and the being the new human that you are being. I have construction going on at my house. Can you hear that in the background, or can you just hear me? I'm watching Anna because I can see her face. Anna, can you just hear my voice, or can you hear in the... Oh, it's okay. We're good. Okay, good. Thank you. They tell me, my daughter hooked me up with this microphone and she says, it's going to be great because it's only going to pick up you. And I, have had a couple spaces with the dogs and all in the background before, but today they're hammering on the front of the house. So I just didn't want it to be annoying for anyone. But when you're finding these spaces of you in which you are able to register, I did that differently. I said that differently. I felt that differently, right? That's your new human. That's your new human. That's your new space of you. You're way more than human, but that's your new space of you that you are anchoring by being. And then as you continue to be it, as I continue to be it, the spaces of more, experiences of our lives come in because we're living. That's what's happening, right? And those spaces are being designed by us for us. So they're coming in just the manner in which would be most optimal for us for whatever we are bringing to ourselves. When you can own that understanding, you have now owned you. You are no longer giving your power away to something or someone else. I'm no longer giving my power away to something or someone else when I'm living from that understanding of I'm designing it. I'm aligning it. And I'm doing it for my optimal good, even when I get a space that feels like I would have never chose it. You know what I mean? And in those moments, that is the space we are giving ourselves an even bigger opportunity. Really, really, this is a powerful choice of your power of your focus. This is a powerful choice of that power of your focus. Whatever you focus on is going to get bigger. If you focus on, oh, this thing showed up again. Oh, I thought I healed it. I thought I cleared it. I thought I'm done with it. And then you start to feel like it's bigger than you. And then you start to feel like you're beating yourself up. And then you start to question, does even any of this stuff work? And is it any of it real? And you start going deeper and deeper into this swirling density space that showed up. So in that moment, the focus was given to where you'd been. It wasn't given to where you are. And there's a really powerful understanding in there that we can hold on to and utilize, and it will benefit us greatly. In every single experience that we have as we are being the new human, we are choosing the direction of our focus, which means we're choosing the direction of our energy, which means we're choosing the direction of our experiences. So have the space show up, if you do, that you thought you had healed, you thought you had cleared, you thought you had loved, you thought you had shifted out of. If you are able to maintain that understanding that I just shared, and you are able to direct your focus not into, oh, been there, done that, that's the past. But if you are able to redirect the focus or even maintain, because you may be already in the alignment of being present, of being your now expanded you. And if you're able to maintain that space and direct that focus of your energy, of your thoughts, when they want to say the other, and they can say it, even if they say it, it doesn't mean you've, oh, you're too far gone, even though we can feel that way sometimes. Even if the thoughts come in that make you feel like you're right back where you were, you are the one who decides, and you are the one who directs what is your truth. What is your truth? And I have had some bigger spaces, not really recently, thank goodness. I don't like the bigger spaces. Who does? But we'll all be honest, right? And we'll all navigate together. But I had some several months ago. And at first, because I had been in such a space of peace and in such a space of flow, that they surprised me. I surprised me. Do you understand? So the space comes in and I said, what? I don't do this anymore. I teach people how to not do this anymore. This is here in my, but I share it so you'll see how real this is, right? I'm real with you to convey we're all doing this, and we're doing this masterfully. So I processed within minutes, which would have taken me years or at least months before, right? You sit in something for a long time. This was minutes. It was very, very fast. And I immediately went, what am I telling me? What am I bringing to me? I was never in the old space that would have said, why is this happening again? Why do I keep doing this to, like that kind of beat yourself up, get stuck under the cycle space? I didn't go there. Within minutes, I was having a conversation with myself, and it's a powerful tool. What am I telling me? This experience with this other person, it was another person, right? This experience with this other person is me writing myself a letter of understanding on another space of myself. That's what the experiences are. They're us communicating to ourselves and allowing ourselves to understand ourselves beyond the experiences. We can understand ourselves beyond the experiences because we can understand ourselves within them. So I hope I never convey from a space of just get out of them, just run away from them, because I don't mean that at all. Let yourself understand yourself. You are the one who created it. That's a big one for us, We don't like to think about it that way, because then we think that why in the world would we bring in these things that may not be as easy to navigate? But they are the way in which we understand ourselves. They are the way in which we begin to learn how to be ourselves. We're no longer being whipped around by the experiences, but we're realizing we are the creator of them. And we're realizing that we are then able to navigate them from that sense of understanding, which then changes everything. It's like running around on a playing field in the middle of a football game. You're a player, and everything around you is 10 times bigger than you, and the lights are off. That's what it's like when you think everything is happening to you. Throat center clearing. And then when you understand, you're the one that laid it all out. It's your game. It's your playing field. Then all of a sudden you become the same size as everything around you. It's no longer bigger than you. Now you're the same size, and you can look at it a lot differently. Your vantage point's changing. The way you're feeling about it as you're taking it in is changing. Because, people will use that triggered. They'll say, I got triggered because I saw this thing, I heard this. Somebody's, that's energy. That trigger charge is energy moving through you, who is energy. And when the energy doesn't feel right, it is the understanding of the space is out of alignment with you and you with it. And you are the only one who can readjust your alignment, if you will, within your experiential spaces, your life. And there's no judgment here. You can do it any way you want to do it. So here's an example. Let's just use this one because it tends to be really well for everyone across the board. You have a family member that you don't agree with. You have a family member that you don't see eye to eye with. You have a family member that for whatever reason, you just can't, every time you connect in whatever way, phone, in person, it doesn't matter. There's a space that's very uncomfortable. Well, if you in that space understand that you designed the entire unfolding for yourself and they designed it for them, and everybody's navigating and gaining whatever it is they are bringing themselves, if they choose to, as they choose to. But if you're able to, when you're in that space, if you're able to allow yourself this understanding, how can you do that? You have to be present. You cannot be running around the football field as the very miniature version. Everything's bigger than you. Your family member's bigger than you. What they're saying is bigger than you. The charge, the trigger is bigger than you. It's freaking you out. It's making you angry. It's surging through your body. Hey, can that be happening? Absolutely, it can be happening. Absolutely. But you choose whether you feed it, you allow it, you continue it, you stay in it. Being the new human means there's some type of shift. There's some type of choice. There's some type of perceptual interpretation, vantage point change. And then as you are in that space and you're feeling what you're feeling, you're hearing what you're hearing, you're seeing what you're seeing, and you're saying, I'm present. I know that I am experiencing this because I'm bringing myself some type of understanding. I know that I can either repeat what I did before, I can react the way I've done before, I can live out this whole thing the way I've done before, or I can choose to implement and move in a bit of a different direction. Now, it can be incremental. Does not have to be that you're perfect the first time, but it can be incremental. It can be that you choose not to respond. It can be that you just listen. It can be that you take into consideration, this is something that really helps me a lot now. I wasn't able to do it in the very beginning, but I can do it now. And I think it's very helpful, is in a moment where I don't necessarily feel it's extremely comfortable, I don't really like what's being said or whatever, I really focus on being present in my wholeness, my version of myself, that is my eternalness in my human form. I make a note of that to myself as the person is talking or the energy's moving or the experience is happening. And then I remember they are that too. Even if they don't sound that way to me, or look that way to me, or even feel that way to me, I remind myself that they are eternal as well. They are consciousness in a human format, learning who it is, just like I am. What happens in that moment is, it's just like the football field. We're not beneath the experience anymore. We've risen everybody up. The person that you're having the connection with, yourself, the whole space, we've taken it all up into a different vibration. We've allowed the remembrance of the divine within ourselves to come in. Then we've allowed the remembrance of the divine within them, even if they do not have anything on the way they are speaking or acting or presenting themselves that you would call divine. That's a hard one. All right, I understand. But I'm just telling you, if you can do it in your mind, just allow that second of presence of the divine. That is the opportunity for them to no longer have to remain in that alignment with you. Am I saying you choose their alignment? No, but I am saying that the way you view them, the way we view them, the way we really do expect things of people. We do. We line things up energetically before we even get to the conversation or the actual connection point. And usually we line it all up from where we were the last time. Oh, yeah. You know how it is when we go to dinner there, or you know how it is when I talk to her or him, or he always is this way. You know what I mean? So we're energetically aligning these relationships and these experiences ahead of time with the intent and the directive focus of the past. And we're wondering why some relationships don't change. But we're not really allowing them to. We're not really seeing them in any other way without judgment of if they move or not. That's another big part of this. Like, you can have a family member that you don't see eye to eye with, or a friend or something. And it's not the type of relationship that you would say, oh, well, whatever, I just let it, go by the wayside. You don't have that mindset. They'll always be your mother, they'll always be your sister, they'll always be your whatever, right? Those are the ones we really need to be mindful of, because everything is energy. And as you shift and heal, you change your vibration. People around you are either going to go by the wayside and kind of disappear and no longer be really prevalent in your life, and more people will show up. It's just how it is. Your energy is aligning. But the ones that you kind of are in here with, right, this lifetime with, family, close friends. We don't realize how we get stuck. We stick ourselves, we stick our relationships with one another. We stick them into these soils of the past, and then we keep growing the same thing we've always been growing. Yet we have the power to dump out that pot and fill it with new soil. We have the power to begin to maintain that garden from a whole different understanding and vantage point. And if we do that, I promise you, because I do this, all right? I'm like scientific proof. I always make that joke, but it's really quite true. I've always analyzed my own life. I find it fascinating to like pay attention to people and experiences and energy and consciousness. I always have loved this, and I make notes. And so over years and years and years of implementation and trying different methods and so forth, I come up with these spaces where I have proof. I've seen it happen again and again and again. And then I started sharing it with others, clients and students and so forth. And I'm watching it happen in their lives. And this is something that we I don't know, for some reason it gets put on the back burner a lot of the time, but the people closest to us, we stick them, we maybe don't even intend to, but we don't realize that we've stuck ourselves, our relationships with them with us, in these old thought processes. And so we just keep cycling out the same spaces. What do you need to do if you want to plant them in a new pot, in a new soil, in a new garden? You need to talk about them differently. You need to think about them differently. And it has to come from, I started to say this earlier, it has to come from neutrality. What does that mean? It means if they don't ever match what you're saying, you don't care. You're not saying it because you are trying to manipulate anything or force anything. You're saying it because that's what you choose to speak. And there's power in your words. And the only thing you're attaching to that power is not to manipulate them, not to make anything be any certain way, but to be a choice of how you use your energy. A choice of how you choose to allow your energy to flow. I'm flowing my energy right now by speaking these words to you. This is how I choose to flow and emanate in this human format. And, you learn to not compartmentalize yourself. You learn that you don't have to box yourself up and be one way with me in being the New Human course or AQE course, and then one way with some friend you've had for 40 years. We learn that we can maintain this very moment of this space of ourselves that is expanded and understanding itself as this consciousness in this human format, who has the ability to direct and come from and be love, not at the expense of your own self. Never. I do not teach that. I do not teach to, let people walk on you or something like that. But I think that's implied. But this is a very important space of being the new human, is allowing yourself to, one time I did a class on check your perceptions. I think the video is available on the archives on Patreon probably, but it was about checking your perceptions regularly, like once a month or so. Just allow yourself to sit, daydream for a moment, look off into the distance and ponder your perceptions. How do I feel about this? How do I perceive my mother? How do I perceive my children? How do I perceive my job? How do I perceive my whatever it is, my wife, whatever your thing is, right? And allowing ourselves to adjust the perceptions accordingly to how we've now being, because we're ever expanding. And we may carry a perception that is old because we just didn't think to tap into that space and think, what am I even thinking about my mother? Oh, I never even thought I could update that. I thought she had to change first. And then I would change the way I feel about her. Well, that goes against everything we understand about creation. That would be saying that life will be good when I see it's good. No, life will be good when you live from the space that it is good. Then you'll start seeing the reflection back to you. It's a mirror of energetic understanding. So perception check was one of the things we did. And it's not a bad idea to check but perception is very much connected to this, but to check the space of energy we are keeping people in. Oh, my son, he always does this. Oh, my daughter, she's always saying blah, blah, blah. If you don't like that, stop saying that she's saying it. If you feel it's detrimental to her or harmful to her, then stop talking about it. I had to do the same thing. I'm not trying to talk at anybody. I had to do the same thing. I was talking about things a lot. And then I thought, every time I talk about this, I'm feeding it focus, which means I'm amplifying its space of being, which means it can get bigger and bigger and stay longer and longer. Doesn't mean you ignore things and like act like you have your head in the sand, but it means you're very mindful of what you do with your power. And you can speak on things and shift them when you're speaking, instead of speaking on things and keeping them embedded in old soil, growing the same exact harvest year after year. So you are very, very powerful. We are very powerful beings, more so than we will ever really understand. Well, we will one day probably, but you are part of a group of humans that are here to implement these shifting points, if you will, of the way in which humans be humans. Because we were never designed truly to live the way we've been living. We weren't really designed to live this way. That's why we all that are in this group and many other groups, many, many, many other groups on this glorious globe planet, that's why we are feeling this calling, feeling this desire, this need to understand ourselves, because we know we don't. We know this is not what we were designed for. And we are a group amongst many who are the forerunners, if you will, the frontier ones, right? You know, you hear the stories of when they said there was gold in California or something, and the frontier people headed out. Given there's a lot of history on our planet that's very skewed and very ugly, I understand that we need to clean it up, and we are. And even the way I speak, do you hear that? That's new soil. I can talk about the space, but I also add in, given we need to clean it up, and we are. Boom, new soil. All right. Do you see how you can put, don't have to have your head in the sand. Be your powerful vessel. Utilize your frequency through your words, but be mindful of what they wield. Do not give them any longer to this space of separation and division and control, slavery. So that's another class. All right, let's stay focused. So I'm going to talk for just a few more minutes, and then I want to do an activation for you guys. But let me check here, because we have a couple of things in the chat. Let me just scan them really quick. Okay, so Sandra wrote in, when we invite anything to come forward that's blocking our wants, the triggers come fast, especially those connected to our emotions. Release the tears when they bubble up and begin to quickly unclog the drain of the manifestation. That's a beautiful way to put that. Thank you, Sandra. I had another individual who's in the course space write in, and she said, I think she was in the course space. She said, is there something to this understanding I'm picking up on, that anytime we decide to embrace our wholeness and shift spiritually into a new space of ourselves, that things tend to go wrong or stuff starts getting in your way, almost like, it's a test or something. Those were her words. Not exactly, I'm paraphrasing. And I know a lot of people will, kind of feel that way, but Sandra's comment is kind of connected with that as well, as to not coming from the program or the old soil that says it's this test that I could fail, or that I'm always going to be in this same space of being tested again and again and again, like you're being hit over the head. And that there's almost like a fear connected to the old soil where it never fails. Every time I blah, 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 this happens, right? So that is as long as that is continued to be spoken and believed and leaned into, that will be experienced. You will live from the bounty of that harvest, right? Because you're planting those seeds, you're watering those seeds, you're nurturing that garden, you're going to get that harvest. And here, Sandra wrote in this beautiful thing about how if you inviting anything to come forward that's blocking the wants, the triggers come fast, especially those connected to the emotions that are connected to the energy that's caught, right? It's stuck in that old soil. And to release the tears, allow the space, be present with yourself, and it'll unclog. She uses unclog the drain. I love that. You're going to move into a whole new space of you. You're going to process energy in a whole new way. So the next time, and there'll always be another space because you're an ever expanding being. Really, there's a lot of power in just not trying to get there anymore. And just be here. Be wherever your here is and whatever your here is. Because your here is your most powerful space of connection for you. And that whole, when I am here, I'll be happy, or when I get to there, I'll know more, or when I understand that, then you're always never, you're always trying, you're always, So these types of thought processes will empower us to then be able to have these incredible spaces of presence with ourselves, which allow us to own the power that we are. We're not stuck in the past. We're not predetermining a future event based on what happened there the last time. We're not locking up our relationships and our jobs and our hobbies and our ways in anything they've ever been. We're allowing ourselves to be completely present in our wholeness, in our now, in our eternal being, knowing we are the focal point. We are the eyes that get to see into the spaces of our creations. And we are the one creating. We are the one creating. That's really good. Not like, oh, I'm really good, but like, I wondered where I would gauge it at. It's like, it's so funny when I talk and speak and teach and so forth, it's like energy session for me. So when I hold an energy session for others, I feel when it kind of comes around to the point where, boom, we're here. All right. I can seal the space. So I kind of spoke out loud there for a moment. I might have said that in my head, but I was like, that's really good. For me, it felt like, okay, that's where we needed to get to. Oh, that's kind of funny. I told you I talk to myself and I do it more and more, but it really does help. It really, you have so much to you, you have so much to you, and talking to yourself is not crazy, and allowing yourself to register what you're thinking. It is allowing yourself to really be present. I say this all the time, but it's such a powerful understanding. And many of you are doing this, if not all of you. Make that something you give your focus to this week, maybe. How present am I being in this very moment, right? As you go through your week ahead, How present am I being right now? For me, there's nothing else. I could hear them even in the background. And the further I got into the conversation with you, the less I could hear them. It was really trippy. But I'm so present with you. Like, it's interesting because it's almost like I can envision the world around me, the planet, the comings and the goings, the cars and the planes and the people and the jobs and the cities and the countries and all this stuff that's going on right outside of us right now, right? But it's like it all just becomes so silent in a sense. And this is all there is. This is all there is. While this is the this. That's powerful and beautiful space to live from. You breathe differently. You sense differently. Presence. Presence. All right. Let's go ahead and move into the activation space for any who would like to receive. If you would like to just listen and be present and come back later to the video and connect then, that's fine. If you're like, I'd like to know what she's going to do first, that's fine. If you're all in right now, then just follow my lead, and we'll work together in this space. I'm going to close it up with a few minutes left because I have a few books that I've read over the years and I keep meaning to tell them to you guys. And I brought them with me. I have a pile next to me. So I will share that with you as well at the end of the video here, the class space. So, all right. Just allow yourself to be present. Yes. Just allow yourself to be in this space of you. Allow your breath. Nice breath in, nice and slow. And on your exhale, let your body drop. And just allow the space. Just allow your breath. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. We had some really big expansion in the solar plexus right away. There's a lot of self-worth and self-love opened up in this space. So beautifully done, Holy One. Just allow your breath. The energy is moving. Some of you are, I see you as your human form, and then I see you as wave. Very quickly, like you are registering yourself more as wave, as consciousness, as frequency, as information, as energy. In this now, right here, in this space, in this connection, you're registering you, your vastness more. Just allow yourself to lean into that. Imagine that, trust that. And breathe. Beautifully done. Ooh, really big opening up there. Good, 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 good. We're going to open the crown. We have a lot of energy surging up through the head and the third eye, the back of the head. So just allowing the understanding, you're opening your crown. You're letting your vibration, your energy move. You're letting it flow. If you ever get a little bit of a headache sometimes, it can be because you are expanding so much and you have a lot of energy that's trying to move and the crown is not open enough to allow. So you just have to tell yourself to open. It's you, it's your energy, it's your centers. So you just allow your crown to open. Some of you are clearing a really big space out of the right side of the brain, the right side of the eye. Just breathe, please. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. I feel you anchoring that. You are ancient. And you are future, and your glorious human is your now focus point of all that you are. Your human is your focus point of all that you are. Breathe. Yes. Beautifully done. Blessing your feet and your root lines. Blessing your root lines, your root center. Yes, you are safe. Yes, you are loved. Blessing the spaces of the light shaft from the root to the crown, all the way up the torso, heart centers expanding. Just allow, just breathe. Crown is open, flow is moving, you are moving, you are flow, you are not restricted, you are not compartmentalized, you are not boxed up, you are flowing, you are flowing. Just allow, please. Yarasukoane yanate ataua, apua ye yana taua. Asate ya kaukua, ne ya taututua, ipua ne ni atawa, asatua kia. Pia sao. Breathe. Pia sawane. Allow the space. See your neural pathways. Many thought processes, belief structures, behavioral traits, shifting their alignment into a new vantage point, a new interpretation space. Reading and processing you, your experiences, your emotions, your connections from a space of you that is more in alignment with your eternal being. Just breathe as this aligns. You can say, I allow. You can say, I allow. I allow my eternal being. I allow love. I allow my truth. Ya no wa itia sawa. Breathe. Beautifully done. Somebody or some of you are releasing something off of the left side of the clavicle, like the top of the shoulder, neck to shoulder, left side, just releasing, letting go of stored energy from a past experience that now has moved into a higher vibration, so it was able to release. Beautifully done. Just allow, please, just allow your breath. Your team is with you. You may make note of that. Your team of light, you have guardians of light, guides of light. You can, in your inner knowing, in your imagination, in your inner sight, you can visualize. And if you want to actually do it with your physical head, I find it quite powerful. With your eyes closed, slowly, very, very slowly, turn your head to your right with your eyes closed. Look into the void to your right and see those in your team. Allow yourself to make the connection. Use your imagination. Allow yourself. Trust yourself. Do not judge yourself. Sense and feel and see in your own way. It will be perfect for you, designed by you. Bring your head back to the center, nice and slowly. Take a breath, please. Yes. Yes, so And when you're ready, you're going to keep your eyes closed and slowly, slowly, slowly turn your head to your left. Hiya, soya. Allow yourself to connect with your team on your left. For some, this is very emotional. You're anchoring this. You're rooting deeper into the trust of yourself, and the trust of your team, and the trust of the love that you are, and that is all around you. When you're ready, slowly bring your head back to the center. Very big clearing and expansion going on in the solar plexus. Self-love, self-worth, self-mastery. This is connected to family lines as well. It's very big. Just allow. You've got it. It's all happening beautifully. Just allow, breathe. There's some fear leaving. Love coming in. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. And you allow yourself with your head straight, centered, eyes closed. You allow yourself to see, not moving your head, but moving your inner sight. Back to the right, just your inner sight, not your head. What's on the right of you, your team. Bless them, thank them. Yes, some of you are communicating with your mind. You're hearing, bless you, Holy One, or hello, Holy One, or thank you. Many things are being conveyed with your thoughts right now, you to them and them to you. There's a lot of clearing going on in the mind, very old programming leaving, transmuting, shifting, clearing, and expansive thought coming in, higher thought. Now allow, there's a really big clearing in the solar plexus again. We'll allow this space for a moment. Just take a breath, please. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Thank you, Holy One. Thank you. Oh, I love that. That is marvelous. Oh, yes, thank you. You just cleared spaces of your family line, Holy One. Thank you. Now, when you're ready, do not turn your physical head, but use your inner sight and look to your left. Inner sight, look to your left. See your team. Hayao tokoane yasaua ye yanataua ya yao. Just allow, please. Just allow. There's so much love. There's so much love. Enjoy. Yaso koaye. Yaso koaye. Allow your breath. Huye yanatea. Some of you feel a connection, a touch from your team. Just allow your breath. Hiya puaye. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Allow yourself to send a wave of gratitude and love to your team. There's a deep inner knowing, anchoring that you truly are never alone. I am never alone. We are never alone. We are completely connected with our team of light, and they with us. We are completely connected to what we call God or Source or Goddess. We are these spaces as we are this space as well. And we are being given the opportunity to be this space, to be it, to register it, to feel it, to implement from it. Allow your breath. Some of you, your wings of light are out. of your back. Some of you, there's a crown of light above your head, like a dome of light or a half circle of light. You are being these higher spaces of yourself in this very moment. You are giving them, you, the opportunity, the welcoming, the space of connection to be present. You are moving into more wave within form. Beautifully done. Allow your breath. Beautifully done. Each and every one of you, I can see you in this space of the quantum connection we're having. And there is a member of your team directly in front of you. They are awaiting your approval, and you may give it if you choose to through your mind, your thought, your intent that you allow. They would like to bless you. You just allow the space if you choose to. And they are blessing you accordingly. Just breathe. Ya pua kia nene, ho tuaye, ya pua ne ya sau tuaye. Just allow, please. Waves of light flooding in. Just allow. Ya pu te anasea, ya tiau kuane. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Now, in my understanding of you in this space, as your physical body remains relaxed, allowing the consciousness to experience itself in a vaster manner, the inner visual I have of you is within your imagination, within your inner sight. You see yourself with your team around you, and you see yourself in that space. Put your hands into prayer position, and you see yourself in that space of your quantum, and you feel yourself in that space of your quantum. Bow slowly and slightly forward, acknowledging your team. Some of you, your past loved ones are here as well. And then these beings, they do the same back to you. It is reverent. And it is love. Breathe into the space with your presence. Breathe into it. Feel it move through your vessel. As you exhale, you're anchoring it in to your now. Yasaukua. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. And we seal this in the greatest degree of love and in the highest alignment of light. And you can begin, if you feel to bring your focus back to the physical sight, allowing yourself to maintain the understanding that that doesn't turn off your quantum, it doesn't turn off your light team, it doesn't turn off your connection. It's just the space of your focus is allowing you to look through your physical eyes into this reflective space of you here. But all of that is still completely you. That space of you is what is looking at me. That space of you is what is seeing you and your world around you. And that is the eternalness of you that is always with you. So that was a really, really beautiful. Thank you for allowing me to be in that space with you. Thank you very much for allowing that. I would love to receive any feedback anyone has that they would like to share. I'm going to go over these books real quick. If anybody wants to type feedback into the chat, I'd be happy to read it, grateful to read it. If you want to email me later, that's fine as well. I'm just going to show you these a couple of books here as well. So this book, some might think a little odd for me to bring into the class, but some might find complete connection with it right away. It was one of the first books I connected with when I started awakening to There Was More. And I never read it cover to cover, but I do enjoy going in and out of it over the years, and many, many years. I think I started it in 2006. But this is called Ted Andrews' Animal Speak. The book's called Animal Speak. And it's all about animal energy in the sense of when you see a certain animal, is there something you're conveying to yourself? How we're always talking about how we're always communicating to ourselves, right? We're constantly through numbers, through signs of different ways, things that show up. Animals are another way of conveyance, and they have different representation, understanding, spiritual meanings. And so like the other day, I haven't looked in the book in a while, but the other day I was driving on the interstate, 70 some miles an hour, and it was so odd, but so cool. I'm driving along and a woodpecker, a big woodpecker, was flying through the median in a 4-lane interstate highway. I've never seen, like, birds don't usually, they stay out of there because there's a movement of the traffic. Beautiful woodpecker opened its wings, turned sideways, did a little tilt in the air. I said, oh, I need to look up woodpecker again. I have a meaning that I kept in my back pocket, if you will. For me personally, when you read the meaning on any animal, there's a lot, right? Most of them have a lot. But woodpecker, for me, what stood out to me is go to the beat of your own drum. Years and years ago, because I was following somebody else's beat, right? And so when I first learned about woodpecker, that's what stood out to me. So when I was on the interstate the other day, and here I see a woodpecker, that's what echoed. Go to the beat of your own drum. Don't get stuck in somebody else's rhythm. So, all right, I leave that for you here. But let me show you these others real quick. Now, these 3 books, I love them. It's an independent author he's in, I think, Washington State. I haven't followed him recently in years, and so I'm not really sure what his, teaching right this minute is. So keep that in mind, because a lot of things, people kind of evolve and change over the years. But this is James Gillian, and he has a ranch called Isetti Ranch, and they have a lot of sightings of spacecraft, and they're right by Mount Adams, and he's filmed things for years and years and years. And so his books, I really enjoyed them. This is one of them called The Ultimate Soul Journey. Sorry if the lighting's a little off here, but it's called The Ultimate Soul Journey. And then this one is called Reunion with Source. Reunion with Source. And this one I really liked a lot as well. It's called Becoming Gods. I think Reunion with Source was my favorite. It's the most worn out one I have. So I'm thinking I was in this one a little bit more. But those 3 books were really good as well. Again, a lot of this I read like 2007, 2008, something like that. So I haven't been in them really recently, but this was another one I read really early on called The Raw Material. I think it is, yes, The Raw, R-A Material. It's channeled messages, but it was very, very interesting, and I learned a lot from that space as well. And none of the books that I show you, I say they have connective points, but at the same time, they have, differences as well. And so everything we read, we just allow ourselves to register with our own discernment and connection of resonance. If it resonates, awesome. If it doesn't resonate, that's fine too. This is the book I talk about a lot. This is the You Can Heal Your Life book. This is the one that in the very center of the book, it has this big listing of ailments, physical ailments in the body, and what's going on energetically, what's going on emotionally that came from. That's a really good book. Only 2 more books to show you. This one is Eckhart Tolle. Some people say Tolle, some people just say Toll, but this is The New Earth, A New Earth. I read this one a long time ago. I even wrote in the back of it. I think I might do a separate class and video talking about this book, but I have a note that I wrote, like I wrote in the whole back of the book, and I wrote it on May 26, 2007 at 7 p.m. And I really felt to put that as well. Isn't that funny? 7 p.m. So I think I might do another class where I read this. What did I write in 2007, right? What was I thinking in 2007 as I was reading this book? But this is a fantastic book. He talks about a pain body. That was very, very helpful for me at the time. And it really helped me when I would feel surges of energy that weren't comfortable, to remember that I had the choice of was I going to feed that pain body, or was I going to feed my evolving eternal light? So there's a lot in there. And then there's one more book that I love, and that's my book. So, oh, I love it, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. So those would be probably my fave books right now. They've been that for a long time, really. I have others, of course. Maybe I'll share some more with you next time as well. A lot of people will say, what do you read? Who do you listen to? And I do believe, I did a video the other day. It was an older video, but I released it out of the archive. Has a life preserver on the thumbnail on YouTube, and it's a little bit of my story. And I shared some spaces of having grace with your physical body as you're healing your life and shifting your energy. And when I was talking about that, I even noticed the date on that video was like last July or last June or something like that. So, but I put that out there. And when I was in those spaces that I talk about in that video, this was a lot of the books I was reading. And I talk about how what you put in your ear, you are eating, if you will, for your energy, right? What you see with your eyes, you're digesting energy. What you think, feed your mind. Music, all of it, it is energy. It's energy. People can perceive energy differently. So somebody can hear one type of music and think, oh, that's not good energy for me. And then another person can hear that same exact music and be like, and they love it. It feeds their soul. They want to jump around and dance, and you see that a lot when you see children and parents. I can remember growing up, I wanted to listen to rap music and bass and stuff, because I was breakdancing. That was my thing. I was the kid of the 80s. And my mother was like, oh, that's atrocious. Like she didn't like that music. She wanted me to listen to, stuff that she was comfortable with. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? So keep that in mind and try. That's how we can maintain a little bit more unconditional love with ourselves and with others as well. There's some rock music that's like really hard. I don't like it, but then I have a son-in-law who thinks it's so refreshing, and he finds that it, makes him feel like he's, decompressing or something. And for me, it's like, so everybody needs to register the frequency and vibration they align with. That's why people will say, does this resonate, right? It's resonant of energy. So just keep that in mind and be mindful of what resonates for you. Be mindful of what resonates for you. All right, we did good. I think we got a lot in here today, and I loved being with you. Thank you so very much for allowing me to do so. It is such an honor to have such incredible beings to walk with. So thank you for walking with me. I love you. I love you. I love you. You guys are so amazing. Oh, Christy liked looking to the left and right. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's going to be assisting us in opening up our inner sight to be a little bit more directive with what I do. I'm just telling you what I do, and then you can try it. And I think it's going to open up the inner sight even more. So thank you for sharing that. I love you too. I love you too.